Welcome to the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 10th, and it is 9 a.m. We will call the meeting to order, and we'll have invocation led by Pastor Eddie Stith from Church of the Heights, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Palatka. Please stand if you're able to do so.
Let us bow. Father, we pause now to quiet our hearts and place this time in your hands. We thank you for your faithfulness to our community and your steadfast presence among us every day. As Scripture reminds us, may God be gracious to you and bless you and make his face shine upon you. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he smile on you and be gracious to you. May he look your way and give you peace. Lord, we ask your blessing over our county, over our commissioners and all those who serve in leadership. Walk with them. Give them the wisdom when decisions feel heavy, patience when the path is unclear, peace that comes from knowing that you are near. May they feel supported, guided, encouraged as they seek to serve well our community. Be with our community, strengthen our relationships, renew our hope, help us care for one another with kindness and grace as we look towards the future together. We trust you with what has been, with what is, and with all that is yet to come. We are confident that you are at work and that the best is yet to come. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Commissioner. All right, moving into the approval of the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes stated in our packet for the Port Authority.
Second.
For the regular meeting, I'm sorry.
And we have a second from this is from the January 13th, 2026 meeting. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we will recess the regular meeting and convene the Port Authority meeting.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the minutes of the Board of County Commission Port Authority meeting January 13th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any public comment on Port Authority items? Any public comment on Port Authority items? All right, grant application, Putnam County Port Infrastructure Development Grant Match.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sam Sullivan on behalf of Port Putnam. Before you is a package that will seem very similar. If you recall, a few months ago, the board authorized us to apply for a port infrastructure development grant with the U.S. Department of Transportation. Those decision on the outcome of that application is still under review in D.C. However, the next round of applications in that program must be submitted by February 28th.
Okay.
What we're asking for is to be able to submit another one before the deadline, so that we still have an application in there in case we're not successful in the 25 process, so that we stay in there. If we're successful in 25 process, we will naturally withdraw our application that we're about to submit for the 26. It's the exact same application, just a different year. So we just want to stay in the loop and be able to get the funding for the infrastructure that we need.
Absolutely. Are there any questions for the presenter? All right. Is there a motion on the floor?
Madam Chair, I move approval of the grant application for Port Infrastructure Development Grant Match Commitment Letter, $2 million.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any general updates or discussion you want to talk about?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thank you, Sam. All right, any general discussion from the board? All right, with that, we'll close the Port Authority meeting and reconvene the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners meeting. Presentations, William Bartram Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution. Proclamation 2026-010.
Thank you for this time. William Bartram Chapter has partnered with the SAR from St. Augustine and Sunrise Rotary to dedicate an elm tree as the Liberty Tree. Many people don't know that when the revolution was getting started, they couldn't meet in the pubs because that's where the Tories were hanging out and that's where the soldiers were hanging out. So they had to have their private conversations under a tree. And during the war, the British found out about that tree, so they cut it down. After that, any good-sized tree worked. But to dedicate and to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States, we're dedicating on February 28th an elm tree that has been planted and will grow and be a continuing living memorial to the great United States.
All right, thank you. I will read into record the proclamation. Putnam County Proclamation Number 2026-010, America 250 Liberty Tree Day. Whereas in 1765, like-minded patriots often gathered around an old elm tree in Boston to meet and stage acts of defiance against tyranny, establishing the tree to be known as the Liberty Tree, a lasting symbol of American independence and freedom. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a milestone for the United States of America. And whereas the planting of a tribute Liberty Tree at the corner of US 17 and State Road 19 serves as a living monument to the spirit, courage, and sacrifice to those who secured our nation's independence. And whereas the William Bartram chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, the St. Augustine chapter of the Sons of the American Revolution, and the Sunrise Rotary Club of Palatka desire to honor this legacy and renew our dedication to the principles of liberty, justice, and community. Now, therefore, by the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners, here proclaim Saturday, February 26 as America 250 Liberty Tree Day in the county of Putnam County, and encourage all citizens to join in the dedication of this tree as a symbol of our shared history and bright future. I move this proclamation.
I
We have a
second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'll bring this to you. Do you want to get a picture?
Yes.
You want us down here?
Well, I guess you're just the odd one out. Here on this side. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. And one more. All right.
We have placed a sign out there at the site, the Triangle Park, where the tree is. It says it starts at 12:30, but the program actually starts at 1 o'clock with a flyover. George Washington's going to be there. He brought his campaign tent with him. There's a lot of things going on. It's going to be a wonderful program, and everybody is invited.
Very good. Well, this is the proclamation, and we're glad that you were here today, and we look forward to the dedication of the Liberty Tree.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next we have up Felicia Cahan, Putnam County School District. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Felicia Cahan. I am the Community Relations Coordinator for the Putnam County School District. On behalf of the district, thank you so much for having us today to discuss our community partnership survey. The survey is now open until February 13th. And to provide easy access to that survey for you and community members and for those in attendance today, we do have these cards with a QR code you can scan. It'll take you directly to that survey. It takes about 10 minutes. It is completely anonymous. And it does have 5 open-ended response questions at the end where you can provide your feedback. At this time, I would like to introduce Jonathan Hinkey. He is the Executive Director of Strategic Initiatives for the district, and he handles our strategic planning.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Last month, we kicked off a 6-month process of updating our school district's strategic plan. The last time we went through this process was in 2020, 2021, and we know a lot of change has occurred in our school district and in Putnam County since then. While our vision of preparing all students for college, career, and life will remain the same, and our mission and our district brand will not change, we know it is time to update our priorities and long-term goals. Our 2026-2029 plan will build upon our successes and guide our improvements in the future. Today, we want to encourage participation in the first of 2 surveys that will help guide the development of our strategic plan. Felicia told you about our Family and Community Partnership Survey, which we encourage you to take before Friday. And in late March, we will have a second survey called our Shaping the Future Survey that will give stakeholders another opportunity to rank their priorities and provide input on long-term goals for the district. As we work on updating our strategic plan, we encourage you to reach out to Felicia or myself with your ideas and feedback. We will be here after this morning's meeting if you want to speak with us individually. We know that the strength of our public school district impacts the economic health of Putnam County, and we will continue working to improve our school system, and this next strategic plan is part of that work. Thank you again for your time this morning.
Thank you. Is there any questions? I just want to say thank you for coming in front of us today and bringing this information, the survey. I think it's very important that people can respond if they can, and just this is how we know what our needs are, right? What we need in our community. So thank you for bringing this forward, because we want to get it out where more people can respond to your survey. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
All right. Next, we have Public Works vacation of a county-owned portion of Floridian Club Road.
Good morning. This is the public hearing to vacate Floridian Club Road. The attorney for the LLC in question that is trying to vacate Floridian Club Road has a letter stating the issues that they will handle, or the resolutions that they will handle for the citizens on Easement Lane, in order to make this more palatable for everybody involved. If you would like, I can read those resolutions to you if you don't already have those in your packet. Yeah, okay. So one of them is signage at the front of Easement Lane that indicates it's a private drive with no through traffic. They will provide and install the sign and place prior to the driveway entrance to avoid inadvertent traffic on Easement Lane, because Easement Lane is a private road. A radius cut into the property at the 90-degree bend at the southwest corner of the property where Easement Lane turns north. They will create that radius to make it easier for vehicles and trucks to turn, and will install bollards to keep vehicles within the roadway. Also provide Easement Lane residents with an easement for ingress and egress over that portion of the property. And I believe that's the section that we were talking about this morning, Bill, for the deeded easement that will be taking place. A cul-de-sac will be constructed to county standards at the new dead end of Easement Lane. And that has been agreed upon as well, sufficient for trucks and emergency vehicles to do a U-turn, and provide Easement Lane residents with an easement for ingress, egress over that portion. The landscape berm, have decided to eliminate the landscape berm running adjacent to Easement Lane. Instead of the berm that's 10 to 12 feet tall, they're going to do a fence just off of the property line. that'll be more satisfactory. The new fence, although the county does not require the new fence to be set back from the property line, the request has been thoughtfully considered, and they have agreed to set the fence back 15 feet from the property boundary line. After eliminating the berm, this will increase easement lane ingress egress easement to 35 feet for their lane. The landscaping, they will provide aesthetically pleasing landscaping along our new fence. Type and location is determined during installation of the fence. The intent will be to not interfere with the additional space requested on easement lane for vehicular travel. Should you determine you do not want landscaping installed, they'll honor that request as well. So they're going to involve the citizens on easement lane in deciding what that landscape will look like and be. The gate that we will install on our private drive off easement lane will be set back sufficiently so that a car or vehicle waiting at the gate will not block easement lane, and they've agreed to that. The entrance to easement lane off of County Road 309, they've asked for the widening of that entrance. And the LLC has agreed to do that, subject to required compliance with the county and town regulations. They'll also install a new concrete drain culvert on each side of the road to replace the existing one. They'll work with Public Works as far as any right-of-way use permits or anything like that to do their culverts. The residents on easement lane have requested millings to improve easement lane. Should Florida Indian Club Road be vacated, their plan is to mill that road up and relocate the road, but then use the millings from that road to put onto easement lane for those residents and extend the life of easement lane. And then post office boxes, the post office is agreeable to relocation of the mailboxes in front of each home on easement lane. And they have agreed to pay for the relocation and installation of a mailbox, either existing or new, at the owner's option for each resident on easement lane. So they've been as forthcoming as they can on it, and I have a letter provided by Mr. Michael Arnold, one of the residents on easement lane, in support of what they're trying to do, that can be turned in as well for any of the public record.
All right.
So if you have any questions at this time, I'll be more than happy to take them.
Are there any questions? Is there anybody in the public who would like to speak on this item?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is
Morning.
Mike Arnold, and my wife and I own a house at 111 Easement Lane. And I think I kind of found out about this just by stroke of luck that you guys were considering this. And so right away, I contacted my other neighbors and let them know of it, because this would be a drastic change for us. You know, it would mean no more garbage pickup, delivery service, anything like that, because the lane itself is only 10 to 12 feet wide, and because of the trees, the utilities and all that, there's no way to make it wider. But Bill had contacted me, got with me, asked me for my opinion on different items. Him and I walked the whole street. I pointed out issues that I had, and Bass Pro was very receptive of my opinion and my ideas. He had a basic drawing of a 34-foot driveway that they were going to use, and it was listed like, I guess they submitted it to you guys for emergency vehicle turnaround or something like that. And I said, Bill, I'm the retired fire chief from St. Augustine, and I can tell you, a fire truck can't turn around in a 34-foot driveway. And so he said, well, how about you meet with my engineer, walk through it with him, and that's what I did. And they have been in touch with me constantly. In fact, yesterday, Bill and I and the engineer walked the whole property again, went through everything, and talked about things, considered things, and we actually came up with a couple other items. So we're kind of happy with it. Through this whole process, I've been in touch with all the owners on Easement Lane, because there's only one that's a full-time resident, and I do have a letter from her stating that she's good with me speaking, and I kind of became the unofficial spokesman for easement lane. So I did sign off on the proposal that Bill has made, and I'm happy with it.
Okay,
And I appreciate everybody's help. I know it was tough. Commissioner Newbold came out and walked it on the 26th with me, and I explained to him what we were looking at and that I had been working with Bass Pro. And I said, you know, I was kind of leery because we had still not been notified of any of this going on. And it wasn't until the 29th that we actually received a letter telling us that this proposal was going to take place. So I'm glad that Bill and I could work this out and that we're going to get this done. It's, you know, it's not going to be as good as what we have right now, but it's the best we're going to be able to do.
okay, all
Okay?
right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold.
And I do have that letter. Does anybody need that, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
So it's public record.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
thank you, Mr. Arnold. Go ahead. Mr. Newbold, you're recognized.
Through this process, I had the opportunity to meet with both parties, and I appreciate Mr. Arnold's willingness to kind of be the de facto spokesman for the community. That was kind of thrown upon him. Appreciate Bass Pro and Mr. Height's willingness to cooperate. It doesn't often, you know, run this smoothly. It was a tough situation that I think has come out very well, and I appreciate their willingness to work together and power through it. So thank you, thanks both of you, and that's all I have.
All right, this is a public hearing. Is there anybody else who likes to speak on this subject matter one way or the other? All right, with that, it comes back to the board.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2026-013, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Putnam County, Florida, vacating the portion of Floridian Club Road in Palatka in accordance with the section 336.09 Florida statutes, closing and abandonment of roads authority, and section 33612 Florida statutes, closing and abandonment of roads, termination of easement, conveyance of fee.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will say to the members in the audience, in our package is over 100 papers of documentation on this. So if you want that, you can find it online, or we can email it to you. But it has all the terms and everything that's been agreed upon. So you might want to just have that for your records. All right, anything else? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. This is on consent agenda items, new business, and then we'll have miscellaneous comments once we get through that. All right, both of these are on new business, so I'm going to go ahead and do consent agenda items. Commissioner Harvey, do you wish to pull any consent agenda items?
No, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Alexander?
No, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Newbold?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Palacier?
I have none.
All right. And I have none.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the consent agenda items A, B, C, and D.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, new business.
First one under A, for the Children's Reading Center School Zone. I've worked with Alex Sharp, Major Steve Rose, and the school on establishing the right way to get the school zone done, so that all parties are satisfied and not liable for anything wrong on the road per se. They went through and got a engineered traffic study done, an engineered plan for the school zone what that school zone will look like, request in the reduction of the speed limit in that area so that the school zone is easier to go from 35 down to the 20 instead of 45 down to 20. And on either side of that area, it was already 35, so it's not really a difficult transition. They're also getting the school beacons, and all of it at the school's expense. The county, my sign guys, signal guys will be installing the beacons for them, but this has been done at the school's expense. And Public Works is just requesting that this happen. It makes sense.
Thank you. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Stout. I'm really up on this, to be honest with you. I was a board member of the Children's Reading Center one time in my life. I think it kind of grew to be bigger than it really was going to be. And as we all know, traffic on all of our school zones are tremendous right now. So I would like to see, though, at one time, a previous Public Works Director had in mind of some type of a apron on the side of the road. I know they're using almost all the way back to Springside, if you will, but not that far, maybe to the park entrance.
Right.
But, you know, we got to probably stabilize that side because people are parking along there. And it is dangerous, there's no doubt. But I don't want it to be confined to times, because I will say this, there are times when they have PTA meetings or something, and people are lined up on both sides of St. John's Avenue right there. And I worry about kids darting through between the cars and stuff. So I would like for them to be able to set whenever they need it to be on, to be on. So those are my comments, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Alexander, you're recognized.
Just want to thank you guys for working together so diligently on this. I know it's not an easy task, but to see the groups collaborating in an effort to protect our children, as everyone knows that I'm a huge proponent of anything we can do to keep our children safe, and some of the other investments that we've made. But just want to thank you and your diligent work on that, JT.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I echo that. This has been a sore spot since I've been elected. Had lots of calls on it and trying to come up with a resolution that resolves it. I'm glad they were able to have some funding to put toward this, and that we could work together for a good result.
Yes, ma'am.
I do agree with Commissioner Harvey. I think in the future, there's going to have to be some additional something.
Times or something.
You know, whether it's widening of the road or,
Oh, yes.
yeah, they're going to have bigger needs, especially as that area at Ziegler and St. John's is built out, and you're going to see a lot more vehicles on that road.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think this will help, but I think there's going to be bigger needs in the future in that area.
Okay.
But thank you. All right,
Madam Chair, do you need a motion?
please.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the request from our Public Works on the Children's Reading Center school zone area.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, going into the request to advertise for public hearing to vacate a portion of, is it Chimera?
Chimera Way.
Chimera Way.
Yep.
Okay,
Again, this is just a request to advertise.
okay.
No decision needed today.
All right. I have a couple of speaker cards. First, we have Mr. James Cuneo. Please come up, say your name and address for the record.
Hey, good morning. James Cuneo, 569 West Hillsborough Avenue, Florhome. I'm here this morning to remind the board that this has been a thorn in our side at George's Lake for a long time. We as a community have gotten an attorney involved, and I believe the last time this came through, it was resolved with the county attorney and the community representation from Douglas Law Firm. Just want to remind you that Chimera Way is the currently only last official access to George's Lake. You guys are in the process of purchasing the boat ramp, and it's going through the process, and we understand the process. However, this road is on the south side of George's Lake. The north boat ramp has a dry hydrant for wildland fires for the volunteer fire department and Florida Forestry Service. I am the community association president and the volunteer fire chief out there. We would like to put a dry hydrant on Chimera Way for access for the forestry and the volunteer fire departments, and the active for wildland fires, parts of Belmore Forest. But there are new homes going out there, so the area is growing a little bit. So it's not, the residents use it. It's a quiet, used area. You'll hear rumors that they've had all kinds of parties and all kinds of trash and all this in there, which is hearsay from the one resident that really wants this closed. There's been no law enforcement response to anything to this day that I'm aware of, and we researched all this big time a while back. So I just wanted to keep that in mind. While they advertise, the community is definitely not for us. And I want to say this is probably about the third or fourth time that's been brought up. I would say the road has been researched extensively by Mr. Will Height from Palatka Abstract, so the county does own it. I believe it's a Class 2 road. JT, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's no maintenance? Okay, yeah. So it is an access to the lake for not only residents that just want to come down on their golf cart and enjoy the view, people that come in with small boats to fish, because it does have a small boat ramp at it. So the only thing that I would recommend or see if we could do, if the board could do, is this is going on way too long, and it's wasting too much time for the county staff and the residents. So I don't know if we can draft a resolution or something to place on this road in the system that says, you know, the county has done extensive research, and you know they own the road, but it's not going to be maintained, and you know it's not going to be attempted to be vacated again. I don't know if we can do that. That's something that staff can research, but maybe that's something to think about. So I know the county attorney, you don't have to go through this again, and we don't have to waste your time. But the community is not for this at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cuneo.
And Madam Chair, I would just remind Mr. Cuneo to all the things you said are valid, but remember they have to be said at the public hearing when the board makes their decision.
All right, next we have Kevin Nelson. Good morning. Please state your name and address for the record.
Kevin Nelson, 106 Chimera Way, Florham, Florida. This is an ongoing thing, and it is, to me, a nuisance. It's a problem. I think I read a letter last time I was here describing some of the activity there. My house was broken into, so that does list as a police involvement there. And what I wanted to do was ask that you move the request to advertise for public hearing on this issue, so we can have a public hearing and discuss all this stuff. That's pretty much it, if you can move it forward for the public hearing.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Cuneo is right. This thing has been going on for years and years and years. Mr. Nelson and I go back a long way, and we have come to an agreement that we're not going to agree on this situation whatsoever. My problem is we've been through numerous county attorneys since I've been here. Speaking to our current county attorney, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but this is just a way that we're going to have to either put up or shut up, basically. That someone's going to sue us over whether we own it or don't own it. From my understanding, the title company won't sign off that we do own it. We've been told by numerous attorneys that work for us, we don't own it. I'm tired of this situation, but I will tell you, the residents in Florham that live on the south side of that lake do not want this thing closed. That's their access down there. And if this is going to be developed, I've spoken to Mr. Nelson before, come up with a different plan, come up with a way that the residents can still get to the lake. But I will tell you that I am not in favor of putting this out for a public hearing, because again, we don't even know if we really do own this thing one way or the other. And our attorney will tell you that. There's been 4 different attorneys in the past, maybe 3, Rich, I'm sorry. 3 different attorneys contacting Rich and representing the man that wants to close this or vacate this. this is just beyond, just because the plat map says that all the roads in there, state statute says we don't take all those roads. So it's come to a point where I'm tired of hearing about Chimera Way, but I can tell you, you open it up to the public hearing, this room will be packed with people from Florham that have no intention of this to be open. So thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the board? Commissioner Alexander?
Let me turn my microphone on. You say you can't hear me with it on, so I better at least give you a shot. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Pellicer? All right, great. We had a similar situation, in my opinion, at the end of Commercial in Federal Point. And the residents in the area, that was their only access to the river. And when we had two landowners on either side of the road that were, for lack of a better term, creating obstacles for folks to come down there and enjoy the river. They enjoyed going down there, watching the sunsets, walking their dogs. And, you know, we all have an appreciation for the water. And I think that if we just spent almost $500,000 on a piece of property out there to give people access to the river, so obviously there's a value in it. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to deny people at the other end of the river. You know, I think about myself as a young boy and trying to find somewhere that I could slide my kayak in or my john boat and go fishing. And, you know, the kids down there, they access it there. And I've gotten multiple calls from the residents of Florham that are in support of maintaining that soft landing for the kids and the families down there. And that's not even my district. So they're reaching out across the county to let me know how important it is to them to have access to the water. So I'm going to have to say that I agree with Mr. Harvey and his statements, and I agree with the multiple residents that have reached out to me personally.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
So, and a lot of what the commissioners have said is true. I just want to make sure we clear up some discrepancies. We have checked, and even though we, as the county, don't believe that we own in fee simple, we don't believe we own it outright, we do believe we own an easement right to that property. Separate from that, because the application to vacate by Mr. Nelson has not been moved forward by this board, we are in the middle of being sued about it. So my advice to you is at least move it to the public hearing so that we can have a documented foundation on which the commission is going to make a decision, so that at least that information can be considered by the court before they make a decision to close it or not.
All right. I see you're standing there. I don't normally allow this, but I'll give you a few seconds.
I came back to just say we can't put it before the board to vote, is what you're saying?
No, we haven't made that decision
Right,
yet.
okay, well, I would appreciate it if you'd consider putting it before the board to vote, to advertise for a public hearing. I didn't know we were gonna discuss a lot more than that. I thought it was just an example to push it forward. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. The request on the public record is to advertise for a public hearing to vacate a portion of the road. So with that, it's back to the board. You heard from our attorney.
Madam Chair, point of clarification.
Yes.
Are we looking for a date and time certain, like August or December of this year? Are we looking for, I mean, what are we looking?
I have a court hearing coming up in March, so I'd like to be able to tell the judge that the board did have the public hearing and consider this. Now, whatever happens to it afterwards is up to y'all, but right now, my defense of the county in court has been that the plaintiff, Mr. Nelson and his attorney, have not exhausted the administrative process. So they have to do that. So if we cut it off now, then candidly, a judge is going to make the decision.
I hate that. I hate that. I think we're painted into a corner here, and it's disturbing to me that one of our citizens would do that to us, but I'll go along with whatever the board needs to do.
Yep.
So.
I'm going to make the motion to move it to public hearing. I think regardless, it's the right thing to do to have the public weigh in on it, and I do believe that the community will come out, you know, and state their preference, and it's very likely, from a safety standpoint, I would prefer to not vacate it, but I'd also like to hear from the community, and I think it's a tool that our lawyer needs to finish the process. So I'll make the motion to push it to public hearing.
Do you have a date? Date?
I don't even have my calendar in front of me. Mr.
Do
Commando?
we need to do that?
We can do it the next board meeting.
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right, I'll second that motion, JR, because I agree, based on the attorney statement that, that is the best process, or best path forward. It may not be the path that we desire, but it is the only path forward that we have currently.
All right. So we have a motion and a second to request to advertise for a public hearing to vacate a portion of Chimera Way. Any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'm going to vote for the motion, but again, it's disturbing that we get painted into a corner over a lawsuit, but I'll vote for it. Thank you.
Noted. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation on matters about which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed at the meeting room entrance and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk who sits to the right of the podium. You do not have to fill out a card, but it definitely makes it a lot easier. All right, Chip Liable. I just called Chip Liable.
I know. He
Okay.
told me to go ahead.
Oh, he told you to go ahead?
I'm not speaking on what he's speaking on, but it won't take me but a minute. Ed Killebrew, 146 Barden Estates Circle, Palatka, Florida. I came before y'all last board meeting, and I kind of chided you, and I didn't mean to chide you. That was not what the full intent was. But I just wanted to come and say thank you this morning. Between, I see the mayor out here in the audience, and between all the governments and everything, the people, the homeless people were somewhat taken care of. And I just came this morning to say thank you. You know, it's something that needed to be done, and everybody got together and worked it out. So that's all I had to say.
Well, we were already doing that before you came last board meeting.
I understand. I'm just, I'm not trying to take any semblance of what you want to say that, I'm not trying to be vain and say it was me. I'm saying personally, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes, sir. All right, Chip Liable.
Madam Chair, good morning.
Good
Board
morning.
members, clerk, staff, good morning to everyone. This morning I want to speak about Silver Springs and it being a magnitude 1 spring and what it means to the Ocklawaha River and the St. Johns. I'd like to start off just putting some stats out there. Silver Springs is the headwaters of the Silver River, which flows approximately 5 miles before joining the Ocklawaha River. Its status as a magnitude 1 spring is critical to the entire Ocklawaha Basin hydrology and ecosystem. A first magnitude spring is classified by its massive discharge rate. In this case, it's 100 cubic feet per second, which is approximately 64.6 million gallons per day. Silver Springs consistently exceeds this minimum, typically averaging over 500 million gallons per day. Silver Springs was historically the largest inland spring in Florida, with a mean annual flow of roughly 820 cubic feet per second. I got a little out there. The group of springs consists of at least 30 named springs, and sometimes referred to as vents, with the Mammoth Spring alone, that's Silver Springs, providing 40 to 50% of the total flow of the spring. Impact on the Ocklawaha River. Silver Springs is the lifeblood of the Ocklawaha River, providing the following. Volume contribution, approximately 66% of the Ocklawaha River's total flow originates from Silver Springs. Key points included the connection. Silver Springs flows into the Ocklawaha, which feeds the St. Johns. Benefit to the St. Johns, 150 million gallons of daily flow that flushes pollutants and reduces algae blooms. Benefits to Silver Springs, restoration improves wildlife migration, fish and manatees, and it helps the ecosystem of Silver Springs health overall. Overall impact, ensuring a sustainable freshwater supply for 30% of the St. Johns River's flow. That's total flow. We often think of Florida's waterways as a separate entity, but in reality, they are connected like a lifeline to each other. Nowhere is it more critical than the relationship between the breathtaking Silver Springs and the mighty St. Johns River. These two natural treasures can and must help each other the way Mother Nature intended. Silver Springs, the Ocklawaha River are fed by over 25 artesian springs. Historically, this crystal clear water flowed freely into the Ocklawaha River, which then fed directly into the St. Johns. Today, this connection is interrupted. By restoring the natural flow, I'm almost finished, of the Ocklawaha, it would provide 150 million gallons of fresh water to the St. Johns daily. Thank you all for your time this morning.
All right, next we have Tom Townsend.
Good morning, Madam
Morning.
Chair, Commissioners. I appreciate this opportunity to be before you and speak. I'm a multi-generation Putnam County resident, former school board member and superintendent of schools here in Putnam County. My family operated steamships showcasing the Ocklawaha River before the ill-fated Florida barge canal. This river has always been part of our local economy, culture, way of life, and dear to me and my family. Similarly, local families fished, gathered, built memories around the Kirkpatrick Dam and Rodman Reservoir. They deserve to be treated with dignity, not dismissed. However, honoring the past should not prevent choices for the future. The Rodman Dam is nearly 60 years old, past its original design life and classified by the state as a high hazard structure. That's not a criticism, simply a reality. As a community, we have a choice. Continue investing in an aging structure that serves no formal purpose, or invest in a long-term solution that reduces risk and strengthens our future. Ocklawaha River restoration would eliminate the dam failure risk to the downstream community of Palatka, while bringing jobs, new recreation opportunities, and lasting economic benefits, nearly $200 million regionally over time. This river shaped our history, and thoughtful restoration can shape our future, safely, responsibly, and in a way that engages and serves the next generation. I urge you to support the restoration of the Ocklawaha River. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your service.
Thank you, Tom. Vernon Myers.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Madam Chair, last month you indicated your concern about why the restoration of the Ocklawaha was starting at the Rodman Dam and not the other dams on the upper Ocklawaha. I have some information which I hope will add clarification for the water structures south of the Rodman Reservoir. The first one of note is the Eureka Dam, which has never functioned due to the decommissioning of the Cross Florida Barge Canal. In fact, on the upper Ocklawaha, south of Eureka, there are 11 other water control structures. Moss Bluff Lock and Dam, which is 30 feet wide and 139 feet long, is in Marion County. Next is the Apopka Beauclair Lock and Dam, which is 15 feet wide and 60 feet long, and the Burrell Lock and Dam, which is located on Haynes Creek, connecting Lake Griffin and Lake Eustis. These three are managed for flood control and navigation by the St. Johns River Water Management. The final 6 control structures and 2 minor diversion structures are managed by Lake County, and all dams span less than 50 feet. They are located in the Clearmont chain of lakes and are also maintained for flood control and navigation in those communities. I have provided a map of the Ocklawaha Basin, which will help orient these locations. The Kirkpatrick Dam serves neither as a flood control or for navigation purposes. As mentioned many times, this is a kick down the road issue, during which time the ecology of all involved rivers has deteriorated and aging infrastructure continues to fail due to lack of maintenance. There have been permits and plans for restoration since the 1990s. I believe it is time to plan for the future at a time where the legislature's plan supports the science and the economics with the dollars for our community in the current bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Marvin.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, my name is Tony Marvin. I live at 125 Kite Road in San Mateo. I also am a multi-generation Putnam Countian. I've lived and worked all over the southern and western United States, but I came back. In addition to my family being here, I came back because I love this place. I love the woods, I love the water. I consider myself an outdoorsman and a sportsman. But I'm concerned about the river. I don't want to come across as anti-anything. I am pro-river. And I think that the St. Johns River is the beating heart of the ecology of Putnam County. And it's in decline. There's no denying that. I don't have a lot of data to support what I'm saying, but I learned to water ski in that St. Johns River in the 1960s. And I've seen what it has become. And I don't know that restoration of the Ocklawaha will completely restore it. I don't know. There's too much construction, there's too much development, and just population pressure on all the systems that go into making up the ecology here. But I just feel like that we need to give it our best shot at bringing the St. Johns River back to life like it was. And we need to get rid of that dam in order to do that. And I can't speak to the economics. I've never seen any data to support that. It may be out there, it hasn't been in my view. But I just wanted to go on record as saying, let's do all we can to bring back the St. Johns River. I think it's the beating heart and soul of our ecology. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Myers, Linda Myers.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Clerk, and staff. I appreciate as well the opportunity to speak. Last month when I was here, there were a number of issues of concern expressed, and I truly appreciate that. It makes us all do some deep dives. I would like to share some information concerning the Ocklawaha-Rodman issue. Some commissioners question, why does this restoration start right here in Putnam County when the reservoir is on the lower portion of the Ocklawaha? This is where we remind folks that the Ocklawaha does flow north, just like the St. Johns. In fact, the restoration of the Ocklawaha Basin began in 1988 when the St. Johns River Water Management began the upper Ocklawaha Basin restoration, which of course is south of the reservoir. The district purchased numerous muck farms around Lake Lake Apopka, bringing an end to the agricultural discharges into the chain of lakes where the headwaters of the Ocklawaha begin. The goal of that project, like the current Lower Ocklawaha project, was focused on restoring water quality, fish migration, fish and wildlife habitats. It does make sense that the state started cleaning up at the Ocklawaha's origin, benefiting all the communities as the Ocklawaha flows north. As much as Putnam families have memories on the Ocklawaha before and after the dam, this river is a regional natural masterpiece. As some of you know, I grew up in Orlando, Florida, in a recreational boating family. Yes, that is when I had a boat. It was an 18-foot Crestliner. I've talked with Commissioner Alexander before about that. That's back when boats had one 75 engine. I think now they have 2, 3, even more. In fact, that was a time when people boated recreationally from Orlando up into our area. My family, along with other families, traveled together on this connected waterway to Silver Springs. As many of you know, it was magical then, it's magical now. I am blessed to live on the other end of this natural system at this point. As was spoken, the St. Johns River is the heartbeat of not only our county, it is the longest river in the state of Florida, and it is amazing. Many of you and other folks have indicated it's a timing issue. Why now? Now is because we have a bill which recognizes the economic needs of both Putnam and Marion, who share almost equally the shoreline of the reservoir, and that legislature is putting money where it is needed, an input from us, Putnam County, to plan, prioritize, and shape the future of this amazing natural system and the communities we love. Please consider a stance supporting recreation, the restoration. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak for public comment? Oops. Anybody else wanting to speak on public comments? All right, coming back to the board. We'll go into appointments. Does anybody have an appointment? Starting with you, Commissioner Alexander.
None, ma'am.
Commissioner Newbold.
I have none today.
Commissioner Harvey.
I have none, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Pelletier.
I have none.
And I have none. All right, Clerk of Court.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Commissioners. I just want to take a quick second to thank the Commissioners for funding those projects at the ball fields. We were out at the ribbon cutting the other day, and having 2 children that are going to be playing sports, out there on those fields, that is something that I think is a great improvement. So thank you to all the Commissioners for supporting that. I appreciate it. I also want to take a quick second to thank 2 of the bailiffs that helped with teen court training last Tuesday night, Dennis Jones and Sam Aldowry. Both of those guys were fantastic in helping us show the kids around the courthouse, the different holding cells. That's always a fun time to see the kids' eyes light up when they're like, oh my goodness, this, it becomes a little bit real for them. So just want to thank those guys, and thank y'all again.
All right, County Attorney.
I'll talk to each of you individually just about a couple things, but I don't have anything else to report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. When are we due to close on the Georgia's Lake Boat Ramp? Is that coming up?
A closing date has not yet been established. It is the seller's obligation to complete the land split process. I know he's met with planning and zoning staff multitude of times, and as soon as that process is completed, then we will be clear to close.
Okay. All right, just keep us all apprised of that, please.
Yes, ma'am.
County Administrator?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, Commissioners, if you noticed, Deputy Minister Grimes had to step out. He's meeting with the sheriff and Public Works this morning, still dealing with the aftermath of the fire in West Putnam. So they're trying to come up with some solutions to how we might move around some of those issues this morning. One of the things is, wanted to say thank you for the moving forward of the Dunn's Creek Boat Ramp civil work. That's a big deal. That's one of those projects that U5 asked us to move forward and bring back to you. So what we've essentially did here this morning was move forward now. So once all the paperwork is signed and contracts are signed, then those folks will go to work, and we'll actually be moving dirt and pushing those boat ramps forward on that part of the river. So thank you for that this morning. Also, Madam Chair, thank you for the signing of the fire burn ban last week, and it's in front of you again this morning for authorization of another 7 days, working in conjunction with the Florida Forestry Service, which I think is a great thing as well. That's exactly what they're meeting on this morning, so I think that's great. Also, thank you also for your leadership and for you 5 commissioners. We did have a cold weather shelter last week and the week before. We had to jump through several hoops to get there, but the 5 of you made that work, so thank you. And Madam Chair, I know you were instrumental in that, so thank you so much for your leadership there. One of the things that I've been asked to do, and I'll, like Mr. Commander, I'll get with each other of you on your calendars. I want to reach out back to Dr. Sternsley. He wants to do a tour of one of the new schools.
Yeah, we want to do that.
So so we'll work on getting that calendared for each of you, and so we'll make that happen. As you know, we'll be closing the office next Monday for President's Day, so we'll make sure everybody is aware of that. And I believe HR has already sent all the emails out, and also to the Constitutional, so thank you, Ms. Parker, for doing that. And last that I have is I'd like to get Ms. Young, if she could, to give us an update, because this is our last board meeting before we have Putnam Day up in Tallahassee. So
Yeah.
if we'll let Ms. Young do an update on Putnam Day.
Thank you, and thank you to all the commissioners for the opportunity. We will have our Putnam County Legislative Reception for the first time ever, that we'll have a dedicated Putnam County event in Tallahassee. We'll be hosting it on the 22nd floor of the state capitol. We've worked with area business leaders, community leaders, different sectors, agricultural sectors of our community, as well as our government leaders. And we have great participation from all of the different respective areas. We have a lot of really neat people that are going to be up there with us, and neat things that we're going to highlight the best of Putnam and the leaders that are here. We will be serving cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. All of that is completely privately funded. So our business community that we reached out to has stepped up and has completely funded 100% of all the expenses in order to host this event. Representative Sapp and Senator Leek are scheduled to speak, along with our very own former representative and current Utilities Commissioner Bobby Payne will be helping guide us through that evening as well. So it's a great event. I know the clerk's office has jumped in as well, Matt, not just Matt, but his staff has offered to come help, along with our staff that's going to be there as far as setup and tear down and all of the mechanics that make that evening work, because it's a lot of work. It's not just get up there and shake hands with the legislators. We are completely responsible for every facet of the evening, and it's all on board, and we're ready to go. It is February 18th. The reception is from 19th. I'm sorry. The reception is from 5 to 8. And of course, we've got the list. It's an event. The Capitol is technically closed, so you have to be on the approved list for the Capitol Police in order for us to get you through everything. So any questions, just reach out to me, let me know.
Go ahead. Mr. Suggs?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ms. Young. As you know, Ms. Young has taken this responsibility on, and her and Mr. Grimes are doing a great job with that. I don't hear anything but positive stuff coming out of the community for what we're doing there. Two other things is I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Chief Back and Chief Hitchcock. As Commissioner Harvey knows, we took a tour and went and saw the events the night of the fire. They braved the weather and that fire for several hours and days, actually. So want to give a shout out to your public safety folks, because they always are staying ready to do what's necessary to protect your community. So thank you guys for that. And also, Mr. Tilton, if we could start getting some regular updates on the gasification project. I think that's a big deal for Putnam County and for U5, and I want to make sure that we stay up on as updated as we can on that project as we move forward. Madam Chair, that concludes my comments.
All right, thank you. And Julian, thank you for heading up Putnam Day. When we first discussed that, excuse me, you said, that's something I might want to tackle, and I said, here, have at it. And I handed it off to you, and you were taking it and run with it, and I'm so thankful for that. So I appreciate your leadership in handling all the details, because I knew it was going to be a big lift, and I appreciate the fact that you've been able to get the buy-in from the community and get everybody headed in the right direction and get it organized and the right people. So thank you for that. And as far as the fire burn ban, we did do a local state of emergency last week. I had signed it for a week. You can only sign them for 7 days at a time. I have received an email from Stephen Turnipseed, who said as of yesterday, so I received this on Monday, so he said as of yesterday's Florida Forest Service report, the KBDI has increased from 479 last week to 486, with 41% of the counting in the 501 to 600 range, with only 32% relative humidity. At this time, NWS precipitation forecast is less than 1 inch of rain for the next 7 days. So he says this indicates continued and worsening drought conditions and continued fire risk countywide. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all on board with me signing another week, another 7 days of that burn ban. Yeah, if you don't mind, I just would.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. Just want to make sure we didn't have any opposition on that. All right, moving into commissioner comments. Commissioner Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Really want to talk about a few things. We have a group that has come and presented their argument regarding Rodman, and I appreciate that. And it's been somewhat implied by a few that I'm not speaking for the rest of you, that I may have been tone deaf regarding some of the responses that I've gotten regarding removal of the dam. But the reality of it is, it's been, I would say, 10 to 20 to 1 in support of retaining the dam from the constituents that have reached out to me. People say, well, validate that. How do you feel? That's subjective. Well, everybody hates Facebook, but everybody loves Facebook. And when I put something out there regarding supporting the dam, and I get 200 or 300 people showing their support, I get 200 people sharing a post that, arguably we could say that 800 to 1,000 people see that share, and the overwhelming majority is in support. I was elected to voice the opinion of the people, and the people that have reached out to me are in overwhelming support, again, of retaining the dam. So I hear what you're saying, and I listen with open ears. I spent time with the River Keeper building the eelgrass enclosures. I spent time with Mighty River Recovery looking at logical solutions to what's going on. I've reached out to one of you guys, subject matter experts, to get some suggestions from him. Not one single person could provide me with a smoking gun as to the decline of our river. I live on the river. I love that river. As a boy, I dreamed of living on the river. And it's in terrible, terrible shape now. My dog and I were out there yesterday walking in waters that were once filled with eelgrass and vegetation. There is not a stitch of it out there. There's no vegetation. It looks like a barren desert. And the reality of it is, the Ocklawaha and Rodman Reservoir are teeming with fish, vegetation, wildlife. It's healthy. We do have to do periodic drawdowns to kill the vegetation, but that's because it's growing so well. So something's going right in there. And I would love to collaborate with you guys and find out what's going right in there and how we might apply it to the river before we destroy something that is successful. Because I think there's some things going right in there that might be applied to the river. So that's my position on that. But anyhow, moving on. Did have a great day yesterday. I got to see the SMA shelter opened up. I know that our staff worked very diligently with that. JR, our chairman, was key in that. That process started before I came on board. I know you've always been a big proponent of helping the less fortunate, and I applaud you for that. That was great. And to see our community come out, St. Johns County come out, the sheriff, it was so poetic to hear Rob speak. He made an accurate assertion. He says, 95% of you aren't in here because you didn't get caught. So he was very proud to be part of that. And we have an opportunity to help these folks get back on their feet. Our community's made the investment. We've had some great leaders out there. Nancy Russo's worked very hard, and Mr. Grimes has been hand in hand with those folks during the rehabilitation of that facility, and I'm very excited to see that. Madam Chair and I go to a number of the drug courts and the graduations. These things are making positive impacts on our community. I'd like to see that, and I'd like to continue with those. That's really about all I got to say. Thank you, guys.
All right, very good. Commissioner Harvey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a few things. First of all, I want to thank our Board of County Commissioners. Served with a lot of great people over the years that I've been here, and I think this is the most engaged board I've ever seen in community projects. Clearly because we have a fund that we can use to help in our districts and outside of our district throughout the whole county. But like I said, it's easier to govern when you have money, no doubt about it. And but we hear problems, we solve the problems, and we're immediate with that, and we don't have to linger on. And I appreciate every person here. They're all involved in this community. Matter of fact, you can't be more involved because there's times you just give out and you have to stop for just a moment. But we're all everywhere. And Madam Chair, you brought up something about a homeless couple one time that really struck a nerve with me about a young girl and pregnancy and choices and trying to help them. And we should all be about trying to help each other in this community, and I appreciate that. And I can tell you that every board member here is trying to make Putnam County a place that's better than, and leave it better than they found it. Do want to mention that last week, Commissioner Alexander and I did drive to Tallahassee, and we testified in the Senate the benefits of Rodman Reservoir. It was it was Jason Bruder, Senator Bruder's committee, so we knew it was an uphill battle. But I invoke Corrine Brown. My people use that reservoir for substance. My people use that for water. Y'all remember that, right? Chip, you do. I know you do. And I appreciate that. It is important, but my people in West Putnam are seeing wells going dry, not only because of the drawdown, but because of the drought that we're in. So we better protect the water we know, and people better quit picking on Putnam County. Thank you, Madam Chair, for that line. I appreciate it. Next week, as you know, I'll be in Washington, D.C. I have the opportunity as one of the 4 executive members of the Florida Association of Counties to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. It's going to be one of the highlights of my life. I've stood in the Oval Office and I prayed for our president before with me and my family, but this is going to be one of the major highlights that I'll ever. And I'm going to take a list of Putnam County veterans, if I have to put it in my hand somewhere on me, that I can remember when I'm doing that it's for Putnam County, and it's going to be a highlight of my life. And the other highlight of my life is this coming Saturday. My wife and I will be married 41 years on Valentine's Day. I don't know how she put up with me for 41 years, because I don't think I would have put up with me. I know I wouldn't have I can barely put up with me myself some days. But God brought us together, and we smile every morning as we sit there and have coffee and look at our new screen that has all the grandkids and kids and great-grandkids. And we just remember how blessed we are. And talking to one of my granddaughters yesterday at the house, and our great-granddaughters, and talking about the old days of a $2,500 double-wide mobile home, and talking about a kerosene heater that we had, and talking about putting blankets up in the doorways and over the windows because you had to survive, correct? And you did the best you could for your family with what God gave you until He gave you something better. So I want to end with that, but I do want to wish my wife a happy anniversary. And again, thank you for the opportunity for me to serve with each and every one of you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Can I comment on that?
Oh, not,
I want to applaud Linda myself because I spent 6 hours with you in the car the other day.
Commissioner Newbold, you're recognized.
Thank you. I have a number of things to touch on. Again, I'd like to just give a quick thanks to both of those parties with that easement lane issue. It was nice to see what could have been a more complicated process come together with two parties who were willing to be reasonable and helpful with one another, and it was nice to see the process work. I'd give and I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because I don't like to catch staff off guard. One of the gentlemen mentioned that he was kind of caught off guard by a lack of announcement to him. Floridian Club Road didn't actually touch a lot of the property owners on Eastman Lane. So while it was a little bit of a technical issue why they didn't get notified, I think this process has helped us to look at, when something is vacated, we see how it affects folks adjacent to it. And I think, during my conversations with staff, they've seen that, and that'll go more smoothly in the future. But anyway, that was a nice process. I was able to attend with all the other commissioners, the Stuart Marchman facility ribbon cutting. That is kind of, I wasn't aware of the impact of that in our community. We're fortunate to have Stuart Marchman had the ability. I thought they were a statewide organization, and they only touch 5 or 6 counties. And they do make a big difference, and you don't think about people re-entering our community after they have a brush with the law, but that's kind of a big deal, and not everybody gets that opportunity to have those amenities that Stuart Marchman provides.
Yeah.
So we will benefit that. St. Johns County will benefit with that. It was nice to see that multi-county collaboration. It kind of flies under the radar, but it's a big deal. Also touching on the cold weather shelter, that kind of came together in a difficult way, but Madam Chair, thank you for championing that, and along with many others. But that program's only going to get more robust over the years, and those little things help make Putnam County a better place. I was eating breakfast today, and behind me there was 4 people sitting in the booth, and just unannounced, they just started talking. I just overheard them talking about the animal shelter and what a great place that new shelter is, and how they were benefiting from it. So it was neat to overhear that surprising conversation. Yep. Last Thursday and Friday, I was able to attend the Florida Association of County Trusts Risk Management Workshop. It was held in St. Johns County. We had representation from several of the constitutionals there. It was a good program, and that trust is a collection of counties around the state that get together and self-insure with liability and auto insurance. And Mr. Harvey's been a part of that for a long time, and I've been able to he's been covered up and kind of delegated that out, and I'm learning a lot in that process, and it's a real benefit to Putnam County. So anyway, I think that touches on most of what I have, and I'll yield to somebody else.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Commissioner Palatka, you're recognized.
I have a handful of things here. Ms. Young, did you say 5 to 8 on the 19th in Tallahassee? Is that correct, the time? Okay, I got that out of the way. There's not a whole lot more that can be said about Rodman, pros and cons. It's out of all of our hands now. It's the governor. So that's where that lies. I'm not going to jump up and down one way or the other about it. I've said my piece. I think everybody knows how I feel. I have a lot of good memories on that reservoir as a kid fishing, and I'd like to see other people be able to take their children out there and fish. That's one of the best places to fish in Putnam County, in my opinion, but end of that. It's up to the governor. The lightning suppression system that we went out and tested at Theobald Park was, I think, just a really great thing. It's loud. It's really, really loud. That's all I can tell you. And it's gonna prevent the possibility of another tragedy like we had here, a couple of years ago. And as we move forward, if we can find the money to put those at all our parks, I think it's a wonderful thing. Out doing a little traveling yesterday, looking around the county, and I had not been to 310 on and 19 intersection there at the High Bridge, and I was very pleasantly pleased as to how it now works. As you approach, and I guess there's a sensor in the road or something, there's big flashing yellow lights on both sides. So if you're not aware, you will be aware. It will get your attention. And I think that's going to help save some accidents there. I do have another project that I'm going to work on with Mr. Browning and our DOT officials of a de-acceleration lane once you cross the top of the bridge for those turning going in there, so people don't have to about stop for you to turn one way or the other. So that's on my list with Mr. Browning, and he told me to make him a list, and I'm working on that diligently. Mr. Commando, have we heard anything from California, the lady? Nothing? No response? Okay. All right, so we're definitely waiting. That is it, except for my the Stuart Marchman place out here. We went and cut the ribbon on yesterday. Man, what a facility. Clean, I mean, beautiful. Just, you need to visit. You need to visit. It is something really neat that we can offer those that are less fortunate coming out of incarceration. How did Sheriff Hardwick put it?
95% of us didn't get caught.
No, the other way, about the gated community.
Oh, yes, temporary residents.
Temporary residents of a gated community, that's the way he put it, yes. So it's a great facility, and I'm so proud it's here in Putnam County. And as I think Commissioner Newbold said, they're not all over the country. There's like 5 or 6 counties, and we're fortunate to have it located here in ours. If you get the chance, I encourage you to go out. The last thing I have to say, and I'm done, is very, very, very excited about our 2 o'clock meeting here today to discuss our governmental complex and all of our properties. And I'm done.
All right, thank you. I'll piggyback a little bit just so everybody will know. At the SMA Healthcare, there's a couple things going on. They now offer, if anybody has somebody in need who does not have healthcare coverage at all, they have a primary doctor that you could go to. So if you have somebody in need and they can't afford to see a doctor, they have free health care, and you can arrange that. There's a phone number you can call, and I actually have somebody who's works at my husband's shop, and he needed something done and didn't have a primary care physician and was able to get in out there. And we've also sent a couple of the people that we met during the cold weather shelter that came in that were unhoused, and we've since had them out there, thanks Ms. Reyes, and she's personally driven them out there and gotten some doctor's appointments. So they, in addition to all the other things they have going on, they also have free primary care. The 15-bed facility that was opened up yesterday was, the building is owned by the county, but it was renovated with an appropriation from the state. And the other portion of that appropriation went to the building. It sits in front of the sheriff's office. And that building is being renovated, or is just about ready, I think. And the whole purpose of that is to reduce recidivism and helping those coming out of the jail system who really have a need, and then they just fall back into the same cycle. And so the idea is providing them with the resources that they need, including potentially living arrangements if they don't have that. So I think that's very, very good for our entire community. I want to thank Mayor Correa for her leadership in working with us on the cold weather shelter. It was originally, I think the county had it 3-4 days, and then the city was the lead the other 3-4 days. So it all worked out. They're okay. We got it done as much as we could, and it worked out really well. We had Ms. Reyes and I are working with, working with another couple, but we're trying to get them services, and we've learned a lot in the process. We've learned what actually works and what doesn't. We've learned what agencies stand up and say they're providing services but don't really, and so that's the reality. People who are unhoused face a variety of challenges, and you hand somebody a card and say, go do this so that you can get this, they might not even be able to do that. They don't have access to computers. They don't. So there's a big need for a group to step up that actually is more of a case manager type process instead of just a bunch of agencies saying what they do and provide. But ever since I've been here, I've always seen that there's a big gap from the people on the street and the people that are providing the resources. Because the people who are providing the resources often sit in offices and they wait for the people who are in need to come in the door, and that's just not how it works. And so I think that as we move forward, I'm hoping that can change some things and how we serve those citizens. I did receive a request from the town of Pomona Park, from their town clerk, Andrea Alameda, and basically, and I know Larry's been to a few meetings as well, but he's never gotten up and spoken, so I'm not going to call on him. But basically, they're writing to formally request the county's assistance with the installation of a pedestrian crosswalk along US 17 within the town's limits. But go ahead.
I've had some conversation with them, and they're asking for crosswalks not on the state road, but on the county roads that feed into the state road. I've spoken with maintenance. It is doable. We're kind of looking at how to proceed, but it's not a huge lift economically, we believe, but we're kind of in the early stages of it, but they're not asking for anything on the state road.
Okay, well, that's not what this letter says, but I'll get it to you. But if you have anything that you're going to bring back, that would be great. If there is an option that we help with that.
Sure. I told them that we'd be happy to help with, letters of support as far as, the state road and right of way, but we'd be happy to look into helping on
The county ones.
the county roads.
Okay, well, let us know how we can move that forward.
Thank you.
Yep. I will be asking it coming up once a month or once a quarter regarding committee updates. We all serve on different committees, and so I'd just like for us to share, what we're working on regarding committees, and if anything particular that you think would be good for all of us to know or our citizens to know. And with that, again, I want to thank Ms. Julianne for arranging Putnam County Day and organizing that. I appreciate your leadership on that. And I want to thank the community paramedics for all that they do. So many times when we've been helping our citizens recently, they've stepped up. Matter of fact, when I call, I go, "Uh-oh, y'all done gave the county commissioner your cell phone." And so they start laughing. But they've been a huge help, and I think they're going to continue to be a huge help in the community. And I'm very proud of that, Bram. So with that, we will recess.
I just
go
have
ahead.
one last thing. I'm sorry. I was reminded by Ms. Lasseter, that for that public hearing for Chimera Way,
Yeah.
we need to actually advertise twice. So we won't have time to do it before the next meeting. If we could just agree to move that to the March 10th meeting.
Okay. Do we have a motion to move it to the March 10th meeting? So moved. All right.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Do I recess for or the workshop is a separate?
It doesn't matter for that. The only
Okay.
time that's really a big issue is with budget.
Okay. All right. With that, we'll adjourn this meeting. And yes, sir? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Levity never hurts any situation. That's what Commissioner Bill Pickens used to say. So during the meeting, I got an email from a Dr. Omar in Iran that says the late Dr. Eric Harvey has left me $18.7 million in his estate. So y'all just need to be friends with me as we go forward, okay? Just letting you know.
Okay.
Just thought I'd let you know, okay?
You wasn't gonna make the 2 o'clock meeting.
Yeah, all right, might not. Okay. All right. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting, but we will reconvene at 2 o'clock regarding county buildings.
Thank you.